Hi, my name is Ryan, and on Sunday, March 7th of 2021, I suffered a rare spinal stroke. Up until that point, I had never even heard of such a thing, but apparently it's a blood clot that affects the spine instead of the brain. And that Sunday started out as a great day. We had actually got started at the gym, and then went out for our first hike of the season, a nice long hike, and spent the day out. Around 4:30 in the afternoon, we came back home. Around 5 o'clock, I started feeling a pain in the back of my arms, and I thought maybe I pinched a nerve. So I went downstairs and laid on the carpet, thinking I'd stretch it out. By 8 o'clock, I had lost all control of my body. I was basically paralyzed from the chest down, and it left me as a quadriplegic. So I have impairment in both legs and both arms. I can't really use my hands. My legs don't work. I can't stand up or walk or anything like that, so confined to a wheelchair. So it was a very weird thing to happen because I'd always been very fit. I retired from the Air Force after 22 years, coming up on my 50th birthday. The kids are grown and out of the house, empty nesters. We expected to have a different life than this, and suddenly I'm not from a skiing accident or a car accident or anything else. Just out of the blue, something that left me basically paralyzed from the chest down. So very odd. The first week or so that I spent in the hospital was really just trying to. The doctors were trying to find out what happened, what caused the spinal stroke, and so we did a lot of tests, a lot of hours spent in an MRI, things like that that I would not wish on anybody. But they never really came up with a cause. They just know it happened. They could see the damaged area in my spine, and but there was never really a determination of what actually caused it. It was just kind of a freak thing. So after about a week or 10 days of that, I was able to transfer to the Denver Veterans Hospital into the spinal cord injury unit, and really focus on therapy, on rehab therapy. So I went through 3 months of acute rehab therapy where the main focus was getting used to the new normal, feeding myself, dressing myself, getting used to moving around in a wheelchair, transferring from the wheelchair into and out of bed, just to make sure that when I came home again, that I would have some of the basic skills. And so, like I said, we did about 3 months at the Denver VA, learning those basic skills, working on doing physical therapy to work on the strength. Because initially, my arms were very weak, and I had no real control, no core control at all. And so trying to get some of that strength back, which especially in the arms and shoulders, my hands are still not very useful. I can't make a fist. I don't have much of a grip at all. But my triceps and my biceps, the shoulder muscles and things like that, that strength did slowly come back. And so working on that, still working on it today, but that came back, which helps make so I can transfer out of my wheelchair and things like that, mostly on my own. So they were focused on that. So after 3 months, came home, and then really worked on getting the house, finished getting that ready to take a wheelchair and things like that. So getting the ramps installed and different lifts to be able to get in and out of the garage and things like that. So just really working on and continuing to do physical therapy to continue to get used to the new normal, if you will. Definitely working on healing, and in maybe 1, 3, 5 years, I might recover. I might get the use of my legs back and my hands. But as of right now, that has not come back, and so really just trying to get used to living with the new normal, and whatever that may bring. So it has been a challenge. It's been an uphill. It definitely pushing the rock uphill. That's been kind of a difficult thing, but we're still working on it, and hoping, praying, and working as towards a full recovery. And we just don't know if that'll come, or if it does, when. So thank you. one thing that people often ask me is what has been the impact of the spinal stroke and being confined to a wheelchair. And there have been many impacts, but one of the major ones, one that sticks out in my mind because it was so traumatic, if you will, is that the financial impact. Because as I was laying in the hospital and trying to recover and just realizing that can't use my body, I knew right away. So I just basically lost my job. I couldn't go back to work. And so that income source was going to be drying up as soon as my few hours of vacation time got used up. And so not only am I trying to learn how to, get dressed again and move around in a wheelchair and brush my teeth with hands that don't work, I was also faced with the possibility of, what just happened to my family's financial future? Are we going to lose the house? Those are the thoughts that are running through my mind as I was dealing with that, because that's traumatic. And I was in the VA for 3 months away from my wife, as trying to figure out what was the financial impact. And so what turned out, like, I got put on Social Security disability, but as it doesn't cover. It's a great safety net and a great blessing, but I mean, it doesn't fully cover the loss of my salary, of a salary. And I before this happened, I did not. I guess I was really ignorant of what you got insurance to cover if the house burns down or something like that. But what other products could have been out there, that are out there that I could have tapped into to cover what happens if I get suddenly paralyzed? I can't go back to work, and I just didn't even know what I didn't know. So fortunately, my boss had a rider on the insurance policy at work that covered disability. So when I found that out, it took a load off. I could really just focus on getting better, trying to recover, because there was an additional amount of money coming in, which was very handy because. We had to get a handicap accessible van. We had to install lifts and ramps at the house. We had to redo the bathroom to make the toilet and the shower and the sink accessible to somebody in a wheelchair. And so, like I said, if I'd have known then what I know now about what's out there, I could have put an additional safety net in place that would have really helped us out. And just really taken the load off of my mental stress of just not really worrying so much about what's the impact financially to my family, or we're not going to lose a house and things like that, and really focus on recovery. So I do wish I knew then what I know now.